Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video, I'm going to be walking you through creating a site navigation bar for a dashboard. So in this case, I'm assuming a blog dashboard, and this is what our application is going to look like. And before we continue, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, quickly do that right now, and let me know in the comment section what you think about the current application as I demo it. So notice how this nice beautiful animation as we toggle the site nav, and also we have our navigation items. Notice how they get they change into icons as the site navigation is collapsed. Also, last thing is notice the icon here, the toggle icon, how it changes direction as we collapse and expand, and how it only displays when we hover on anywhere within the site navigation. If we're out of the site navigation, it goes off. Alright guys, so this is all about what we're building, and the tech stack we're going to be using in this case is going to be Tailwind and Next.js. So I already have a documentation for that open, and I'm going to add a link for this documentation in the comment section in the description of this video, so you can follow it and also configure your own application. So let's start writing our code for this. Let's go and start configuring our Next.js application. So we need my desktop. I'm going to create a folder called blog dashboard, and I'm going to cd into. So now that we have our project created, that is our project, so I'm going to use this script. I'm not going to follow exactly what is here, but I'm just going to do npx create next app and space with a dot. Now notice this dot. Notice that I'm using dot here instead of the project name. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm already within the project folder, so there's no point using calling the project name again. If I call the project name, it's just going to create a new directory again by the same name, and that is not what I want. So I want my Next.js application to be configured within this blog dashboard folder. So let's hit enter, and while it installs, let me quickly remind you that if you haven't subscribed, kindly do that, and please hit the like button if you find this interesting. And alright, let's wait for this to get installed. Right, now that this is done and installing, let's open it in our code editor. Okay, so this is a code editor here. Now let me run the current setup we have in our code editor. Here and there. Okay. Alright, so this is what we have for the current application. I'm quickly going to clean up all of that and just have basics of what we really need to start building our site application. Okay, this is a basic site navigation, and alright, so this is it. Now let's continue with the next step in our Tailwind setup. So let's install the Tailwind dependencies. Since we already have Yarn, I'm going to be using Yarn for the installations. So instead of npm, I'll do yarn add. Okay, that's done. Let's see the next. Let's initialize our Tailwind by running npx tailwind init. So running that installs creates a tailwind config.js file for us, and this tailwind config.js file is where we will configure our tailwind configurations. I'm just going to what I want to do is I will just configure all we need for our tailwind at once. and we will just be using them to build the application. So I'm going to set up a theme. I'm going to set up a compilation file path and double all. So let's quick misunderstandings. So we have directories, exactly. This is exactly what we're going to be following. And I also want important to be true. So this is just to make sure that every style you apply has an important, cannot be overwritten. So it's important. And then we have our theme. So we're going to import our theme from the default theme, from Tailwind. And we will spread the theme within theme here, and then we will have our colors. Theme has colors, so we're going to have colors. Again, I'm just going to, even though we might not need any of those, but I'm just going to spread the default theme colors at the beginning, and I'm going to add my overrides, primary, and we have white, we have text. So text in this case is going to have this. Okay, so this is our theme, and these are our colors. These are the colors we will need within the course of our tutorial. So next, I'm going to explain more what I mean by default. What this default here is for, and how it's being used. So let's keep watching and pay attention. Alright, so the next thing is we already have some icons already defined. I have a few icons, so I had already created a few icons. I'm just going to import those icons here. I'm just going to paste the icons here, and we will reuse them. So they would be in a components folder, and within components we're going to have icons. And let me just paste. We have the article icon, collapse icon, home icon, logo, logout, user icon, and video icon. So we now have our icon. Let's quickly have a look at our Tailwind documentation to see if there's anything else we need to do. Now, it shows that we need to add this directive in our styles/global.css. So within our styles/global.css, I'm just going to quickly add those at the top of the file, and it's going to apply all our CSS classes within the application. Now our application is good, and well, our application is already set up. So let's try it out. Now let's see. Notice how I'm getting suggestions for Tailwind. I'm having these suggestions because I installed a Tailwind plugin for that. So just search for Tailwind, and you should see Tailwind Intelligence. This is what is happening. Give the suggestions as I type the classes. So make sure you install it. So we have here Tailwind. We have classes. So I'm just going to give a text color. And you see, if I give text light, we should have a light, and so I'm going to quickly restart my server. So we have our text, so the color has been applied, and let's just use text. Now let me explain how the default is being used. So within our Tailwind config, so we have here text, and we have here default, and we have the light. So if I just give it text, I should have the color that default color. So you notice we have your text with the default means that I don't need to give text dash default. I just have to say text and it will automatically apply the default color. Same thing applies for light. I just need to give light, it will automatically apply default for light. So this is our default text color, and this is what we'll be using most of our text. So within our components folder, I'm going to quickly create a sidebar component, and let's create a component. Now let's I'm just going to import this component within our index.js page. So we have it here. So we have a sidebar and log dashboard here. So next thing we need to do is let's create a layout for our application. So let's quickly create a layout, and from there we can now add the corresponding items within the site navigation bar. So we have a layout component, and within a layout component we're going to have a parent div, and this div is going to contain the sidebar and maybe the content of the dashboard. So since there is no content, I'm just going to give it an empty div, just like that. Now within our first div, we have to let's give class names for this first div, and I want the height to be 100 view height, and I want it to be a flex box and a flex direction of row, and justify content start. So now we have this. Let's go into the content. We're going to give the content class name of AG primary. Now this primary sets the background for this our content div to the primary color. I want it to grow. I want to give it a flex grow of 1, like flex of 1. This is it. So this is the start for this, and I also want to give a padding of 4, text color of white, since it's going to have a background of primary, so the text should definitely be white or something like that. So guys, let's just quickly give it a border just to highlight the seats. So I want it to be a dashed border, and the border color of, let's say let's just give it dashed. And within our site nav, I want to give a height of 100 pace. So we have a height of 100 view height, padding of 4, padding top of 8. I want the top to be 8, bottom 4. Background should be light. Justify. So let's just give a border. Alright, let's see. So this is our site navigation, and notice that the content is still hanging under the site navigation. Let's do it. Let's now go into our layout and change it. So within the layout, we have flex row, flex direction of row, So that means I should let's see. Oh, okay. So and what is the issue? We need to import this within. Instead of importing that, we should now have. Let's. So let's remove that. Okay, so this is our layout. So we now have a layout, and we can now start working on the sidebar. Let's go ahead and remove the borders. Okay, now let's start by within our site navigation. We have to I'm going to just I'm going to install a package called class names, so that, because you notice that this line is too long, and when it's too long you don't see some of the classes. So I'm going to add class names, and I'm going to use class names to define my classes and conditionally apply classes to this div. So let's call the first class should be, I just call the wrapper class. Wrapper classes, and I'm going to import class names from class name, and we should have, I'm just going to quickly copy these classes, wrapper, and paste them there. Now another thing we need to do is to create a state for the toggle. So I'm just going to call it toggle collapse. And I'm going to conditionally apply a width. I'm going to conditionally apply a width to this wrapper class. So instead of that, I'm going to have it like this. And I'll conditionally apply it based on if toggle collapse is false, it should give it weight of 80 points, and if it is true, if otherwise, it should give it a weight of 20 points. Now that is done. Okay, within our, so this is nothing is changing yet, so there's nothing to show here. So within our sidebar, we're going to define a few containers. So this first div is for the logo. No, this is for the logo and the site navigation items, and the second div is for the lower part, which is the logout option. So this last item should be for the logout. This one houses the logo and the navigation items. So what do we need here? Now let's define our logo, and let's define our logo and our navigation items. So for this logo, I'm going to for this container, I'm going to give it, it's going to be a flex box, flex of column, with flex direction of column, and that's all for this. Now I'm going to define a container for our logo, and this container is going to be a flex as well. Align item center, pattern left one point, gap, we have to give a gap of 4. And within that we have a logo icon. So let me make sure it's imported from icons. Yep, so it's imported. And next thing is, let's just define a span for the logo name. So this logo name, I want it to be hidden whenever the sitemap is collapsed. It shouldn't show. We should only have the logo icon when the sitemap is collapsed. So I'm just going to I want it to have margin top of 2, text of large. I want it to have a larger text. I want it to just have a font weight of medium, slightly bold, and text color of text. So yeah, this is the text color. Text, not just text, but text dash text. That text gives the text color, the default text color. And now we have that. Let's conditionally apply the hidden. So hidden here is a class name for display none. So if toggle is undefined, if toggle collapses plus is true, it should be hidden, and if it is false, it should be visible. Now that this one is out of the way, let's go ahead and add our collapse button. Now our collapse button should be within this container, and I'm just going to give I want to give the main container a position of relative, so that we will be able to position our collapse button absolute. So the main container for the header part. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this within another container. Position of relative, and this container now has the logo. So the logo has two containers. The first one houses the logo and the collapse button. So let's add our collapse button. Now we also have to this collapse button is only going to be available as the user hovers. So let's first of all have that button. And we have last name. I'm just going to define it at the top here. Okay, so we have here, I'm going to give a pattern of 4 round. Then we have conditionally. Conditionally, I want it to rotate by 180 degrees. So we should change direction. So if the total collapse state is true, it should rotate by 180 degrees. If this false, it should just be at the default rotation. Class name. Let's have a look at what it looks like. Cool. So we have this, and it looks very similar already. Now let's work on the hover states for the toggle. So the hover state, we're going to have const is collapsible. So by default it's not collapsible. And let's go back here. I'm going to use on mouse enter. So as the user enters this sidebar with his mouse, I'm going to right. Let's see. The next thing we need to do is to conditionally render the collapse icon. So the whole stick works. Good. So let's now let's handle clicking on this collapse icon. The opposite of its current value. Now let's see. Awesome. So it works. We are now able to collapse our sidebar, but there is no animation to this, and it doesn't really look nice. So let's add some animation. In this case, I want to give a custom animation, so I'm going to use the style property, and I'm going to pass a transition of, I want the width, it should transition to width, and at 30 milliseconds, cubic is here. Good, let's see. Awesome. Our animation is here. So we have a sidebar animating it exactly the way we want it to. So guys, let's see what's next. Guys, so far, if you find it helpful, find it interesting, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't done that already. So let's move on to the navigation items. Now for the navigation item, what do we need? We need to create another container to house navigation items. So I'm going to just call it div. We're just going to create a div, and in the div we have flex column. It's going to be a column just like the other containers, and should have items center, not center to start. Margin top, I'm just going to give a margin top of 24 points, and let's close our container. Now let's define. I'm going to define our navigation items. So I'm just going to use an array, and I call it array many items equals to an array containing objects with ID of. Alright, now that we have them here, let's go into the container for that and design that particular part. Now we're going to look through these items, and the item, I'm going to just the structure and get the icon, call it icon here, and spread. This is an object. So let's return what we have. Right, let's see. Okay, so these are our navigation items here, and let's add styling to these icons. So first of all, we're going to define our classes, and in this case I'm going to use a function. I'm going to use a function to define these classes for our navigation items. I'm using a function. I'm going to show you why I want to use a function here. So let's go and call it, I'm just going to call it now item classes, or just say get nav item classes, and it expects a menu. It expects you to send the menu, and when you send the menu, it's going to return class names. And then by default we have a flex. It's a flex. By default all menu items are flex box components, or they just say flex items. Then center alignment, cursor, pointer, hover, give it a hover state of background lighter, and border radius of rounded, width 100%, overflow hidden, white space, no wrap. So I don't want any wrapping, any text wrapping. It should always be on the same line. Now let's conditionally apply background lighter when it's active. So I'm going to create an active state, so I need to set active menu. So by default I want such that by default the active menu will be, I'm going to use memo just to ensure that there is no unnecessary renderings, and also ensure I could use state, but I'm using use memo for better or for less complexity. So I'm going to look through menu items and find the menu with menu link equal to I'm going to define a router const router equals to use router from next router. So you have router and they should be called each time there is a change in the path name of a router. So we have here, I'm looking for the menu whose link is equal to the current router path name. So let's get this active and come back down here in our get nav item classes, and we should set the active state when the active ID is equals to menu ID, the current menu ID. Now let's go back to that component, and we're going to now obtain those classes here. Menu. So let's see what our application looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. Let's now make a few changes to make it look better. To make it look better, first of all, those are links, so at the moment they are not clickable. We just have a hover state, but no clicking works. So let's make it a link. So this is supposed to be a link, and we're now going to have a link from Next.js, and we have this link pointing to the nearest link, and within this link, because we want to give those items some styles, so I'm going to add a tag within the as a direct descendant of the link. So flex And we have now an icon. I'm going to have a div. And after the div, I want it such that once the toggler is collapsed, if it is not collapsed, it should show our navigation item. So I'm going to have a span, class name. I'm going to use class name, and give the text size medium. Font medium, font weight of medium, text color of text light, and I want it to be hidden if toggle. There's no need for this. So this is our application. Okay, now it's beginning to make sense. Now we need some space between this icon and the menu item. I'm just going to give minimum width to the container for icon. So because this minimum width, I don't have it within Tailwind, so I'm just going to give it with the style drop here. So you should always have a width of 2.5 rem. Now we can now navigate the pages. We can now click on links and it will take us to the respective pages. In order to avoid the error we just saw, I'm going to create those pages. We have the post users and tutorials page. Post. Users. Tutorial. Right, now let's switch. We have our pages. I'm just going to quickly do the same thing we had here. Now this layout, I'm going to ensure that text children here. In that case, when we get into this, I'm going to call layout, and just like that. And just like this. Same thing here. Right, this is the home, this is the post, this is the users, tutorials. Okay, so we are done with that one. Let's add our logout button just beneath, and I think that will be all for this tutorial. Now, what do we need for the footer part? We need almost very similar styling, like very similar to. We need the styles to be very similar to what we have already for the navigation items. So we have this, and I'm just going to give unused template string literals, and I'm going to call that function get nav item classes, and in this case menu is not provided. I just wanted, since this is not a menu item, so there shouldn't be any menu, and I want to add more styling to it. Padding of 3 points, and padding top and bottom of 4 points. Slight difference from the navigation items, and we're going to have the same styling for the icon. And then text. Okay, we have all this. Awesome. Alright guys, so this is this is the end of this mini application. So guys, if you find this helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And if you have any feedback you would like to give me, please drop it down in the comment section and I would attend to them. And I don't mind receiving any suggestions for future tutorial materials or tutorial videos. Those are also very welcomed. And thank you very much for watching my video, and have a nice time coding.